$88,000 US for a condominium in the Naga Apartments development, which will probably be down here, I would say. Welcome, I'm Mike and I'm in the capital of Laos, the city of Vientiane. Now, we all know what the cost of living's gone through in the Western countries. It doesn't matter whether it's US, UK, European countries, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. The cost of real estate, buying, and the cost of renting has just gone through the roof since COVID. Nobody really knows the reason why. But when I was in Vientiane, I saw the prices and I thought about people who simply need to make a change, who need to go somewhere where their cost of living is economical and where they can actually live freely and lead a normal life. Now, this video, I'm going to give you the costings on buying a new apartment in Vientiane, also the cost of renting an apartment in the city of Vientiane. I'm going to do a comparison check on the cost of living in Vientiane, and I've called out Pattaya, Thailand. I'm going to do a brief cost of living comparison on those two cities. As you can see, I'm going to give you a walk around the city of Vientiane at night to show you some of the hotels, restaurants and the street scape, the number of people in the street, etc. I'm also going to go to the Famous Hardrock cafe in Vientiane, and I'm going to go to a commercial building site where you'll see Laos workers on scaffolding, which is a sight for sore eyes. Now, Vientiane is the capital of Laos, as I said. Population, 756,000 people. Over the last 12 months, the population has grown by 2.4%. So it is an up-and-coming city. Laos is experiencing good economic growth. And because of the cost of living there, it's attractive to people from the Western countries. Now, regarding the cost of units, if you're looking at an apartment, a condominium, if you're coming to Vientiane, I would always strongly suggest first that you come for a short holiday, a 2, 3, 4 month trip or whatever, just to get a feel for the place, whether it was suitable to purchase in. But buying in a condominium can range from $50,000 to $200,000 US, depending on the size, of course, and the location. The average cost of renting an apartment in Vientiane in the city area will be around $200 to $400 US per month, once again, depending on how old it is, the size and the location. So the obvious question, as a foreigner who may be thinking of making a transfer to a country like Laos, can foreigners purchase property? Well, foreigners can purchase apartments in condominium buildings as long as the building or the land is leased or owned by the Laos government or a Laos citizen. So you can buy the apartment in those sort of buildings. There's leases in Laos of up to 30 to 50 years. So you can buy the property and have it for an extended amount of time and receive the capital appreciation on it. However, if you're the type of person who wants to buy a house, on a single story house on its own piece of land, then no, foreigners are not allowed to own land of that description. If you were serious about coming to Laos Vientiane and thought, I'll go there for 3 or 4 months and just get a feel for the place and see whether it's worthwhile, then yes, once you've made that decision and you want to come back, then you'd obviously go to a real estate agent, a local real estate agent in Vientiane, and they would identify a suitable condominium apartment for you, and then they would handle the foreign paperwork, the documentation, explain the legislation and go through all that so that everything was above board with the government. I'll give you some costings now on if you're interested in coming to Vientiane, Laos, just to have a look at the lifestyle, the standard of living, restaurants, facilities, amenities, etc. If you're coming for short term, an apartment will cost you around $25 per night. That's just an average budget hotel. or apartment. A luxury apartment can cost up to $70 per night, short-term lease. Now I want to do a comparison on just general cost of living, small items and everyday things that people have to buy. Now I've decided to do it on Pattaya in Thailand, which is a very popular city for Westerners, and I'll compare that to Vientiane, Laos. Now if you're one person eating at a budget hotel or restaurant in Vientiane, a meal will cost you about 72 baht. In Pattaya it's about 120 baht. Two people eating out at a mid-range hotel in Vientiane, you'll pay approximately 633 baht. The same meal in Pattaya would cost about 1,000 baht for two people. The McDonald's combo meal, 149 baht in Vientiane, 300 baht in Pattaya. To buy domestic beer in Vientiane, 39 baht compared to 80 baht in Pattaya. A cappuccino in Vientiane, 49 baht compared to 72 baht in Pattaya. So just small everyday purchases like that, Vientiane is cheaper. The latest figures on cost of living say that Pattaya is 19% more expensive to live in compared to Vientiane. Now, as you know, or if you haven't been to Pattaya, they're worlds apart, the two different cities. They're both major differences. Pattaya is a massive international tourist destination, receives millions of people per year. Vientiane is a much quieter city, bigger in population, but nowhere near the amount of tourism, much more sedate, quieter city. It also is much more conservative lifestyle. There's no girly bars and nightclubs like Pattaya's got. It's a much more conservative place, which will suit people who want a quieter sort of life. Vientiane is suitable. That, as you can see, I'm walking through the streets and you'll notice that it's much more quieter. It has got a good selection of restaurants, including Western restaurants and bars and pubs, but it's just a much quieter lifestyle. Now, of course, Vientiane, Laos, is a landlocked country. Laos runs alongside Thailand, separated by the Mekong River. Temperatures when I was there were 32, 33 degrees every day, so it's very warm. It's very, very warm during the day. People are very quiet during the day. Most people tend to come out at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoons. The night market is very, very busy down by the Mekong River. That's where a lot of people seem to come out and eat and do their shopping. Now, whilst Vientiane can be cheap on food and night stalls where you can buy food at the night market, etc., Laos doesn't have a manufacturing industry. So therefore, goods and appliances for the house or whatever, they've got to be bought, they've got to be imported. So the price of them will be more expensive than a place like Pattaya, Thailand. However, for people who just have a simple lifestyle, enjoy the quietness and the sedate lifestyles of Vientiane, I can see that there'd be certain advantages living there compared to some parts of Thailand. So recently, Laos's kip has had a drop in value. Inflation's been running a bit higher than normal, so there's been a bit of a drop in values, which means prices of goods and services have increased. At the moment, in May 2025, 21,616 kip to the US dollar, 14,000 kip to $1 Australian dollar, 24,017 kip to the euro, and 648 kip to 1 Thai baht. So that would give you some indication of what you'd be up for if you did make the move to Laos, capital city Vientiane. Hello, sir. Now, what have you got here? That's nice. Hardrock. The Hardrock Cafe. So what are you, a restaurant? A restaurant or bar? Yeah, look, I'm in the Hardrock Cafe now with what's your name, sir?
My name is Niam.
Niam.
Yes.
Nam?
Niam.
Nam, this is a Hardrock, and this is a restaurant with a beautiful bar. And who's your main customers here?
This
Australian and American? And
is American.
yeah. Many Australian come here?
Australia.
Australian? Not many?
Not much.
Not so much. So this... So music?
We have live music at 8:30.
Music at 8:30? That'll be nice. What sort of music do they play?
Today is pop rock.
Pop rock. Good. Thank you. Cheers. This is nice. Black Sabbath, Tony and Omi wore this on stage during the group's 1983 tour. Well, that's something, that is. Very famous man wore that. Very famous man wore that. Lead guitarist out of Black Sabbath. So yeah, it looks like a nice spot here. The Hardrock Cafe in Vientiane, Laos. I think I might get a beer. A beer low, please. Beer low. Oh, that'll be nice. It's nice and cool in here too. Gwen Stefani. Yeah, they've got a lot of music memorabilia in here, which is good. Actually, I'm getting to like the Lao beer, beer low, beer Lao. It's very nice. So I was just staying at the Mantra Hotel, which was just down the road from here. And I was lucky to come across the Hardrock Cafe in Vientiane. It's a small area, whereas mainly five-star hotels. There's the Hilton Hotel, plus a lot of Western restaurants and small pubs and bars. So that was sort of a small tourist area. Most of Vientiane is very localised with local communities. But the Hard Rock Cafe, I've got the music turned down because of copyright reasons, but if you're going to Vientiane, it's well worth dropping in because there's restaurant and live music. It's funny in Laos, you'll be walking down a very ordinary street, dirty and then all of a sudden you'll come across a bit of the old French colonialism. Look at this beautiful old building. Have a look at that. It hasn't been renovated. It needs a good refurbishment. So you'll have something like that here, right? God knows what's happening there. That's been left as a shell and squatters are living there. But then you'll have this here, something from the old French colonial days when they had an influence here. And all right, the electric wires are all in front of it, but the detail of it is incredible, and it's still in good condition. It just needs a good clean and a paint, but it looks like it's locked up. It doesn't look like it's being used for too much. So that's what you'll find in Laos. Every now and then you'll come across a little French gem. How's that for a nice little utility pickup? The lads are up there. I think they're doing some painting. Yeah, they're doing some painting off the scaffolding. But the only trouble with the scaffolding is it hasn't got any platforms. Right? There's no platform, so they're standing on they have to stand just on the metal plank or the metal structure and try and work. Very dangerous. Why they can't have some sort of wooden platform flooring or something up there, I'll never know. But yeah, they're painting the front of that building. It's a medical hospital. Just come across this lovely flower shop just out of nowhere. How much is this one? How much? That's a beautiful arrangement, and they've just asked the girl here 350,000 kip for that, which in Australian dollars, that's roughly $21 American would be much less than that. But this appears to be like a little flower street here. There's a whole lot of flower shops all. It must be flower season in Vientiane, because there's about 8 shops here. It's a magnificent display, different colours. So many flowers. Why why so many flowers out now? Is it flower season? That's the trouble. If you ask any questions, they can't answer. That's a real problem. Just very hard to ask any sort of questions when you're walking around. Here's another one. Yeah, they're just down the street here. It's amazing. It must be a special day coming up. Oh, motorbike helmets. Motorbike helmets. Very good. Yeah, there's a little bit of everything in this street. They have the same problem with the electrical wiring. It's massive now in that corner there. Now look, I think this might be right up there with some of the better quality hotels. The Grand Hotel Vientiane. I don't exactly know where I am, but I'm trying to slowly work my way back to my hotel, which is very close to the Mekong River. And of course you ask the tuk-tuk driver and you show them the card and they don't know, because they can't, even though they live here, they can't read the name of the hotel in English. And look at this, and you wonder why I don't want to take tuk-tuks much here. Look at the comfort level. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons why people don't want to use the tuk-tuks here. They're smoky, they're uncomfortable, they're not good. I might stop off in Cafe Amazon. There's a lot of these in Laos, Cafe Amazon. And it's hot out here, so I'm going to drop in and cool down for a minute. Oh gee, it's lots cooler in here. Cafe Amazon. You walk around out in the heat. for a couple of hours. You certainly feel it. So I've just come in and got a cafe mocha. Which was 35,000 Lao kip, which in Australian terms is about $2.20 roughly. So much cheaper than back home. But gee, you love to get in here and out of the heat. The heat here day in, day out can wear you down. Yes, I've just stepped into a place of beauty. As you know, the Southeast Asian women are very, very particular about their skin, beauty. And this is a Korea. So how much is a facial? A facial?
Face massage
Facial?
นี่ว่ะบ่มี
Huh?
you
No. Oh, well, I didn't get the price there for a facial. But thank you for tuning in if you've looked right through the end of the video. I hope I've helped you with some prices and cost of living if you're coming into Laos and thinking about your future. If you're a subscriber as well, I appreciate that. And if you have not subscribed, I would really appreciate that as well. Subscribers are hard to find. So thank you for watching and see you next time.